Hey guys, Rage of Demons RPG back at it again. I just thought I'd leave a closing video as my day is nearly complete here. Uh, wow, it's been a long day of not too much going on. I've been doing a lot of watching of all of your videos, the ones that I haven't had a chance to watch before, and I'm impressed. And just kind of a minor shout out, as I've talked about them before. You should check out Outsiders 68, Mr. Sean Connors. If you haven't already, you're missing out. His material and ideas that he's just handing out for the love of the game, for the love of the community, is, I don't know. It's worth a lot, and you know I mean, it's really big of him to just share that without really, being too covetous of any of his ideas. I don't know if I'd be able to do the same thing, especially because I'm in development. I'm in the development, completion stage of my own RPG. It just wouldn't. Oh, it would be very tough to let any of my children go. So big shout out to Mr. Sean Connors, and if you haven't subscribed to his channel, what the hell is your problem? Okay, so moving right along. I know it's the weekend, long weekend. Some of you are going to spend some time with family, but others are probably going to have an opportunity to game with the rest of your friends. And what does that mean? It means it's game night again, and you and your boys are going to, saddle up for another session. Now, it could be a continuing campaign, it could be the start of a new one. If it's the start of the new one, I just thought I'd maybe throw a little what of a wild card in there for you. Any prospective GM that wants to change things up, I want you to have your characters, your players, I guess let's let the fictional characters do tasks for you. No, have your players create the characters. And then, at the same time, I want you to write down every single one of their names and place it, I don't know, in a bowl, hat, whatever's available. Just kind of a randomizer. Or you can assign a specific dice roll to one of the players. And basically what you'll do is you basically have them all create their characters, and then you have them turn them in. This may now they said this only a certain kind of group can probably pull this off without there being too much contention, but I want you to give it a shot if you're that kind of group. Basically, everybody turns in their character, and then either through dice rolls or just handing it around in a circular fashion, pass the bowl or hat or whatever you have around, and each member will pull a name out of the hat, and whoever's name they get is the character they get to play. It could be their own, it could be their friends, whichever. Now, sometimes people make characters that are very personal, very close to what is, what makes them up. Now, so they might get a little sensitive. And in that case, you might want to scrap the whole idea. But if they're not, if they're open to just trying something new, hey, what the hell? Let's give it a shot. Yeah, go for it. Just go for it. You play the guy that you randomly got, and somebody else at your table created that person. So if it doesn't work out, you know who to blame. All right, so that's just something I wanted to throw out there. Another thing is I've noticed that there's a lot of oh my goodness, there's a lot of different types of players that we as game masters have to deal with. Different personalities, and some of them are accepted, some of them are not. Rules lawyers, as are one of them. If you're unfamiliar with the term, a rules lawyer is fundamentally somebody who manipulates the rules of the game to better themselves and not others. However, when the GM tries to use the exact same ruling that they use to benefit themselves to the detriment of that player, player will somehow turn it around and try and advocate the case that no, that's not how it's played, blah, 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 blah. So you can see how that can get a little frustrating. Uh, we've already discussed power gamers, male, female, or otherwise, and yeah, we pretty much got that all covered. Another technique that I found that dealt with them well, which I actually, well, not so much power gamers. Let's call it. Well, you can do it with power gamers. This is more just for the like Ander Wad or yeah, Ander Wad. Goodness, Ander with Woodwad. His channel, he discussed the same song. It's a character that continuously repeats over and over and over again in your campaigns. One guy just won't shake the mage thief combo or fighter rogue, whatever. So what I did a few years back, because we were having a big issue with repeat characters, was putting a ban on using the same character twice in a row. So I don't care if you want to do mage thief, fighter, mage thief. At least you have that fighter as a spacer. So we didn't all want to strangle you for the when we have the fifth, character of the same type, same mentality, same gameplay. Yeah, I mean, there's the. I believe I'm probably paraphrasing, and I know I'm paraphrasing. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, and trying to get different results. So, stop being insane and play a different character. I myself have never had much success with wizards, sorcerers, any real magic class, even psionics. Just never really had that much success with them. But on occasion, I'll play one because it's a different thing to do. And also, I try and twist it so I'm not so, I don't know, traditional mage. I put a little original spin on it, make it memorable, which is exactly what you have to do. These characters are characters in a story, and trust me, if you've ever seen a lot of the movies that are coming out nowadays, you almost can't tell the difference between one hero and the other because they're almost the same person, which is irritating as all get out. So why don't you change it up? Try and make a memory, as opposed to taking a perfectly good Saturday or Sunday and you think you're spending your time wisely by gaming when you just show up to the game and kind of phone it in. It's like, well, it's something to do. Well, that's not what this hobby's about. It's not something to do. Something to do is Parcheesi. Something to do is Monopoly. And those are fun games, I guess. I'm not really much into board games myself, traditional board games. But a lot of people enjoy them. There's only one problem, though. I mean, this is so much better and you can get so much more out of it. Why wouldn't you try and go that extra mile? I mean, if all you want to do is sit around with miniatures, a grid map, and absolutely put no effort into it, you might as well just go home and play Sorry. Move a little standee, a little figurine across the board. Oh, I rolled a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I'll go back to start. Wah, 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 wah. Yeah, I'm sorry. Just, come on now. It's role playing. Put a little effort forward. And for anybody that's doing a game this weekend, I hope you're going to do just that. You're really going to knock it out of the park. And if your GM or DM is fairly experienced, probably won't be a problem. That's another thing too. If you really want to change up the game, change up your game master. I think I talked a little bit about how you can change who's running the game, but if you don't want to really be penalizing anybody, then do it just like the character swap. Just do it randomly. Put it all in a hat. Just change up your game master for one session. It could be the same campaign that the other game master is running, but he gets an off day. I mean, we all need it. Just some downtime to clear our head and think about the next step in the story. Because, I mean, every once in a while, you notice that television does this where they get a little burnt out with the traditional storyline and they phone it in. Clip shows on syndicated shows are very popular for that, where they run, oh, I remember the time that blue, 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 and those big, bubbles go above their head, and they will remember an episode you've already watched, and they didn't have to do any extra work. So, I mean, it's almost like a repeat. And you don't want that in a role playing game. You want an experience that's conducive with the story, but sort of different. There seems to be progression as opposed to a pause point. And nobody likes that. So, yeah, that's just kind of a random video for everybody. I hope everybody has a good weekend. Or, well, I myself, as you can tell, am working, and also tomorrow I'll be working as well. So, I mean, I'm sure I'm not the only one out there that does this, but tomorrow at least will be a freelance writing gig, and I'll be having a telephone interview with a heavy metal band out of the UK known as the Architects. I don't know if any of the UK gamers know who the heck that is, because this is my first introduction to them, and because they'll be rolling through my fair city of Edmonton, I get to have a little chit chat with them. So we'll see how that goes, and at least it's a change from the mundane day I've had today. The only thing that's ever been really exciting was making these videos for you guys, and kind of getting all this clutter out of my head. And I mean, there's times like this I really wish I too had a gaming group to go and have a session with this weekend, but unfortunately, the only groups I can hook up with also kind of need a little bit of commitment, and I can't be there every week. So that's not fair to them. So I back out. I miss the game, and I miss gaming. I miss being a GM. I miss being a player. I miss rolling dice for anything other than creating my own book. But another thing is with gaming, you have to. It's a slight. There's a slight commitment involved. It's like if you have a poker set up with your guy friends or your friends of any sex, I suppose. Once a month, you have to go and play that poker game, and you keep missing a few. Guess what? They're not going to invite you back, and I respect that. So why go ahead and write a check my ass can't cash? So anyway, cheers to everybody who's actually having a game this weekend. I, in the meantime, will be having a fun-filled weekend of work and possibly some gaming on my own. The best I can do is probably console, but hey, I'll take it. In the meantime, keep the dice rolling, and we'll talk to you next time.